Okay guys, Kevin Dye Painting. Beautiful home. I kind of just took a little bit of a walk around here, and it does seem as if it is rather dry. You kind of are at one of those turning points where you could either risk having a really heavy winter and then us fixing a lot of stuff like the mold areas that we're starting to see that are popping up, or we could fix those prior. So I mean, it could kind of go either way. I can only say what I would do. If this was my home, I'd probably get a stain on it, just because most of us up here have a feeling that we're actually going to have a winter. It is nice and cool out right now, and this is August. It's very odd. But with all that being said, we can discuss that via the telephone. I'll just kind of break down what we do, dye painting, what type of work we do, and what we would do on this house. So basically, obviously, first thing is this house would need to be pressure washed. So what we would do is we would show up the first day. We would strip the house of any lights and numbers and so forth. Anything that we don't want to hit with a heavy stream of water. And then we would pressure wash, and you're starting to get the black mold dots, areas like that right there. That is what we would get rid of. We use a bleach solution and a couple of secret little things that we do, and we get rid of that so that when we restain that plywood, it is gone. Also, I'm noticing a lot of drips on the bottom of the boards. Again, we don't sell our jobs on what the other guy didn't do, but you will not see that with us. We do use oil-based stain. This is the west, sort of west-facing side of the house, so it's probably going to be pretty dry. Doors can be repainted. They actually look pretty good. There's a ding on the bottom of that one, but they actually look pretty good. So I would suggest, if you like the color, most people have us paint the doors in with the trim. Speaking of the trim, you notice there's a little 1 by 1 inch board there. We call it the 1 by. That board is caulked in. That keeps water out of it, which is very important. We're a very prepping based company. We could do something about this as well. We can do that work ourselves. But we do all of our prep. We are adamant about making sure that things are done correctly, as we have a 2-year warranty. A lot of mold there, and that's just starting to pop up. So that might be something that you would consider trying to get rid of before it becomes an issue. Like this striping here on the deck, this stuff there started like that, and it wasn't a big deal. Now it's going to be a little tougher to get rid of. So basically on stuff like that, we sand all that stuff down so that we can restain. Many times too, when we do that, we have to actually stain a darker color to catch up to the rest of the house. That would entail, obviously for us, that board right here, the whole beam, the ledger, everything that you can see. We usually don't get up underneath and do every beam because you don't need to. And this is Trex, so we really don't need to be getting in there and doing all that. Again, stuff like this door could be painted into a trim color. All painting for us is the same cost. So if you pick a crazy trim color that you love, we can trim the house out, meaning doors, window or doors, and garage doors and so forth, and it doesn't cost any different. So to us, everything is 2 coats. Proper paint job is 2 coats, period. We will often do those doors, and then what we'll do is we will do that same color that we do the doors. We will do the vents so that they blend into the house. They don't have that galvanized look. This door obviously would not be painted, but all this area in here would be. That looks like it would probably actually pretty good. I don't know if you need to do anything, maybe just a coat of spar varnish to make sure that you don't get a little preemptive work there. So I'll put that in there as well. All this stuff here, we shoot. We stain it all in with the house. It's wood and it needs to be stained. So up top, I'm seeing some bleach areas right there that we're going to have to do something to remove that. Not a big deal, nothing out of the ordinary, but all seams on the building like that on the fascia will all be caulked in for us. We will remove this line, which personally I don't like those anyway on stained houses, but right here, all that's snow load. It's like a cedar burn, we call it. Snow sits there, water gets in, and then basically just pulls out the black where the UVs hit it. We would get rid of all of that. We would make that one solid, stained, beautiful thing. Okay, so let me break to the back real quick before I... we've been known to even paint stuff like those. The trim color of the house, like a beautiful forest green, would look really nice on this house. It looked like that's what it was originally on it. It's just fading. And another color that I've seen a lot that people don't believe me until they actually see it is called carbon, and it's a very, very dark gray. And it just, see how if you look right here, you see that trim in the shadow looks as if it's a dark gray. This carbon is gorgeous. We just painted a house right across the street from the Snowflake Lodge. My sign is still up there. It's a huge restain and decks and everything. So you can drive by and see what that color looks like. But again, the galvanized power box and tie-in, all that would be painted in the trim color. All this would be etched with a vinegar solution so it doesn't peel, and that would be taken to the trim color. I like to paint these things so they hide, so they're not accented. They're not like a big piece of metal. Obviously everything through here, we cannot paint that. Nothing out of the ordinary though, but it does look as if it does need it, unfortunately. We could paint that guy and see how this is kind of a darker color. That's actually a really nice color. We could match that if you so desired. All these gutters, I suggest they're painted into the trim color. Let's make them look as one. So that it really has the appearance of the house was just built. And as we get through here, again, all these downspouts would be etched. We take the actual clasps off so that when we paint them, we don't get any paint on the building. I know, a lot of detail. That's what we do. Beautiful. This is just absolutely beautiful right here. What a great set of windows. So for us, we obviously pressure wash any of the bat droppings, the guano that's up there. And then, again, same thing. A lot of stain on this one, but it's imperative to get in there and get it all cleaned up as best we can. This is just basically kind of showing you an idea of what we do. I like to have these bids so that people see when they get our price, they understand the detail from what we do. So we would obviously take this underneath the house, stain, and then we would go ahead and stain all the way down that ledger so that you can look and you can see it. A lot of this is just, you know, stain on the concrete. It doesn't make sense. We don't stain concrete. A lot of this is pretty easy stuff. It's definitely a trick is to run your fingernail. If you, like, there you go. If you run your fingernail and you get a line and you're barely touching it, then it's probably time. Everything obviously under here, all this as well would be stained. And then, let's see, let's go around the corner here. Yeah, it's a big house. There's a lot of stain on this guy to do it accurate. But it's not that big of a deal. It should be something that could be knocked out in a week. We do not get stain on the concrete. We do not get stain on the Trex. That is a big no-no. Trex love stain because you even get near it and it sucks it up, and you've always got a dot or two. So we do our best to stay very clear. We cover it with plastic, heavy mill plastic, and mask the whole thing off. This guy here, all this would obviously need to be stained as well. A lot of pressure washing. All these areas have to be clean. None of this, you know, is a big thing, is making sure that you're clean. And another aspect is making sure that the pressure washer is used for cleaning. It is not meant to be a weapon to dig into the wood, which we often see. People will use too big of a pressure washer. Take your time, spend 8 hours with 2 or 3 guys and really pressure wash it correctly with bleach solution, with big brushes, where we use stripper when we need to, and kind of do it that way. So that gives you an idea of what we do. You know, and on those shutters, I would love to get up there and take those shutters and put a varnish like a McCloskey's to really make them bright, to stick out, instead of just staining them like they did into the building. I would suggest taking them down, putting a nice coat of McCloskey's on it, and make them really like that rustic look, and then we can clean the bear up and stuff for you as well. But anyway, there we go. That's what Dye Painting has in store for this house if we decide if you guys like the price and we decide to go ahead. So any questions, please feel free to give us a call. We'll try to get back to as quick as we can. This is our very, very, very busy season, but like I said, I don't see why we couldn't get this in late September or early October. And truthfully, I would love this to be the last house of our season because this place is gorgeous. Thank you very much for your time, and we'll talk soon.